Welcome back to Captain Crypto's Compass. Bitcoin has just broken down its bear flag. Should we be concerned? What is the chart saying? In this video, I'm going to have a look at key market structure and key levels for both the macro uptrend and the shorter term downtrend that we currently see with Bitcoin. Hi, I'm Martin. I'm the founder of Captain Crypto's Compass. I'm a trader and a professor at the Financial Freedom Academy. I am passionate about helping you to achieve financial freedom through the art and the gift of trading. I will be providing you with actionable technical analysis and insights on your favorite cryptocurrency projects to help you make better and more informed decisions. If you're ready to take your trading to the next level, you're in the right place. So I've gone ahead and opened up the 1 week chart for Bitcoin, and you can clearly see that since the middle of November last year, Bitcoin has been forming this beautiful bear flag. We're testing it to the upside, downside, upside, creating higher lows and higher highs. Unfortunately, this week, Bitcoin actually broke past the bear flag to the lower end of the accumulation zone. Now, what's interesting about this accumulation, if we just add the 100 SMA on the weekly, and we just take those two off, this is this red line over here, you can see that we formed beautiful accumulation on top of the 100 simple moving average for many, many weeks. And this week, we just broke that simple moving average, the 100 simple moving average. It's this red line, and currently we are sitting inside of the demand zone between roughly $83,000 and $80,500. Now, looking at this market structure here, we can see how important it is for Bitcoin to hold these levels. We might see a double bottom potential here in this zone, but Bitcoin will need to have a relief rally and momentum come back in here. So we need to see how it reacts to this level here. Interestingly enough, looking at broader market structure, we can then see that we are currently in a downtrend. You can see we had a pivot high at roughly $126,000, broke down to that 80 level, formed this bear flag, and just broke down the bear flag. Currently trying to hold on to Bitcoin for dear life inside of this demand zone between this roughly $83,000 and $80,500 range. Hey, hope you're enjoying the content so far. Please remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Looking to the left of the chart, however, we can also see that we have lower pivots from roughly 78 all the way back down to about $74,000. Now, these were the low pivots that we formed in April 2025 last year. We can see we formed a beautiful double bottom pattern on these levels. Looking at Bitcoin now, I will be looking at this accumulation level also between roughly 78 and 74 as a potential pivot point. This level is also very important for me from a macro perspective. We can see that Bitcoin, since the start of the bull run, did not create any lower lows and continuously printed higher highs. We can see here a pump, create a high, pullback, high, low. Pump, create a high, pullback, high, low. And this has continued ever since the start of the bull market in November 2022. Now, for the first time, Bitcoin is in a precarious position where it can actually form its first lower low. If we break this $74,000 range here, Bitcoin will officially create its first lower low, and then we can actually see quite a lot more potential for downside on Bitcoin specifically. But looking at our market structure here, looking at these levels, I'll be looking to see how Bitcoin reacts in this level here between $83,000 and $80,500. The $78,000 to $74,000 is also super important for me from a market perspective for this continued macro uptrend. If we break that, looking at market structure to the left, we can also see here between roughly 74 all the way back down to 68. There's also a potential pivot point, previous pivot highs here. And then, unfortunately for us, the market's anchored VWAP from the bear market lows. We can see that's the anchored VWAP, this white line here from the lows in November from roughly $15,000, gives us an average price of roughly $63,000. Interestingly enough, it will be interesting to see how Bitcoin reacts to these levels, but also market pivot lows to the left here in July 2024 is also sitting at roughly $55,000 to about $50,000. So this is our key market structure area for Bitcoin. I would expect Bitcoin to start reacting at each one of these levels. We will need to see which one actually holds for the continuation to the upside. But these are high probability areas that Bitcoin will find support in one of these zones. We're going to take it level to level. Let's see how it reacts to the first one. If we break that one, we'll probably go back down to the lower levels and lower targets we have set here, just simply based off of market structure. Now, interestingly enough as well, if we just put on the SMAs here, we can see that I showed you this 100 simple moving average that we just broke down. But more importantly, also want to just draw attention to the 21 and 50 simple moving average. Now, the 21 simple moving average is this white line over here. Let me just hide this anchored view app for us so we can see this easily. And the green line is the 50 simple moving average. Now, a similar thing here, since the start of the bull market, we have not seen a candle body close below this green line, which is the 50 SMA, indicating a very strong uptrend. For us, we also saw the 50 SMA broken here at roughly $103,000 in November 2025, and currently the moving averages are sloping and slanting down. Now, this is not a very good sign for us. The last time Bitcoin did this in the previous bull run, we can see here in March 2022, we saw the moving averages slanting down, crossing the 21, crossing the 50 moving average, and this was actually the start of the bear market. So Bitcoin is in a very dangerous position at the moment. If we cannot reclaim the 21 and 50 moving average and keep and hold that as support, then this downtrend will continue, placing a lot of strain on our support levels to the lower ranges. Let me just recap these ranges for you. So the first demand zone I've highlighted here is between roughly 83.5 all the way back down to about $80,500. Then from $78,000 to about $74,000. Previous pivot highs sitting roughly $74,000 to about $69,000. The anchored VWAP from the bear market lows is sitting at roughly 65 all the way back down to about 60. The line is currently sitting at roughly $63,700, and the pivot lows from previous market structure sitting at roughly $55,000 to $50,000. So these would be high areas of support, high value areas for Bitcoin. We need to see how it reacts to these levels. What do you think? Which one do you think is going to hold? As always, peace, love, and happy trading. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, hit the like button, hit the sub button, and hit the bell notifications. Also, remember to click the link in the description below to join my mailing list, where I'll be sending you free emails and trading videos, and also market report updates weekly to help you stay ahead of the herd. As always, this community would not be the same without you, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Peace and love. See you next time.